Hey there friends, Nibs again. Out in the garage doing a little bit of goofing around tonight, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of tinkering here, and hopefully we'll be able to get this gun up and running for you guys to see on the channel. But I got another mail call in from Henry Ford. I really appreciate everything he does for the channel. Go over and check him out. If you need anything fixed, anything Crosman wise goes, or Benjamin or Sheridan, go ahead and check him out. Definitely a great guy. But what we have here is a Crosman model 73, and this is a very obscure gun. It seems like it was a very limited production, and but this one, it's a very complicated mechanism. I'm going to bring you over here to the tabletop in a minute. But the hammer and feeding mechanism and all that stuff is very, very complicated, and took me a while to get all of the trigger and stuff put all back together here. But we're going to replace the valve pieces and hopefully get this thing up and running. Really, the only thing wrong with it was the sealing O-ring for the CO2 cartridge was cracked. And as soon as I put a cartridge in there, it was leaking. I actually got several shots off with it, so it is working pretty good. Other than that, so. But I'll bring you over here to the tabletop view for now, and we'll get this thing hopefully fixed up. So I had already tore it all down just to see what else might be wrong with it. But this is the actual valve. And it has basically like a castle nut here, and this is the old O-ring right here. It was just cracked into two pieces. So Henry's kits are pretty comprehensive. He actually sends them with so there's a little CO2 screen in there, and there's a piercing needle, and there's an old valve, the old valve stem right there. His kit comes with a new valve stem. So I think the only part that he doesn't have in here, which he'll send it if he thinks it's a problem. Some of the kits he does, some of the kits he doesn't. But a new spring for the actual valve. So apparently this one hasn't proved to be a problem for him. Another bottle of oil, got a million of those. But so let's see, we've got our new valve. He has those custom made. New piercing needle cap. I'll go ahead and put the new screen in. That other one doesn't look too bad, but and then we've got the actual CO2 sealing O-ring. So start out by putting our new valve in there. Spring goes back in on top of that. Now I'm going to look at the exploded view here and make sure I'm putting this all back in there right. So, because it didn't, somebody had taken this apart before and it wasn't put back together right to start off with. So I'm pretty sure the washer goes next to protect the screen from the spring, and then you want the screen. Then you want the new piercing needle, and then finally the rubber O-ring, which looks like it's, I'm going to put a little bit of grease on there just to help it get sealed up real good. I like this synthetic grease here, really good. castle nut. Probably a special tool for this, but I don't have any special tools for these ones anyway. But it doesn't need to be too tight. That should be good. So now we've got our valve all replaced and ready to go back in. And there is this little valve holder, I guess you'd call it. And the valve goes into there. There's actually a little dimple in the valve. You got to make sure you got this facing the right way, because there's the exhaust port right there. So you want the dimple so that the exhaust port is facing up. Am I doing this right? Looks like I want the, yeah, that'll work. Okay, the exhaust port is actually angled up through here. It looked like it was going to be not in the right place, but it is. Let's see, I need an Allen wrench. I think that is not this one. Is it that one? Nope, next size bigger. So 3/32. Valves on there. Now we need to put the valve back onto the barrel. There's actually a little dimple in the barrel there too. Same type of deal. So now there's these little parts here for the CO2. This is what actually gives you your tension, so the CO2 will pull in nice and tight, and you don't put a lot of stress on these plastic parts. Let's see if we can get this. I got too much junk over here. Okay, so it looks like everything's sitting where it needs to be. So this piece is going to need to go in here like this when I put the other half on. I may stop this video while I'm putting this all back together, because this is going to be a pain in the butt. But so this really needs about 3 hands here to do this. Wow, that went together a lot easier than I was expecting. All right, let me see here. I got to line up this one and get this screw in to hold the lever. Something's not lined up in the top here. What's going on here? All right, like I said, I'm going to stop this for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and get this half settled down, and then I'll bring you back on for the end of the putting all the rest of the front piece back on. So stand by. Alrighty, so I am back. Good thing I stopped actually, because I needed to get my charger for my cell phone. Probably phone would have died right in the middle of doing this video, and that wouldn't have been good. So I did get it back together. I'm not sure exactly what was causing the halves not to come together before. I took it apart again, got everything all lined up again, and it went right together. So and I did test so the hammer cocks back and it fires, so that should all be good. So the last thing we got to do is get these 2 side pieces on and a little door for the CO2. So I think putting this right side on first would be the best bet. So you put that on, and there's 3 more screws here that got to go in. There's 2 short ones and 1 big long one. So we want to put, and these are going down into that aluminum block that has the CO2 press on it, I guess you'd call it. I don't know what else you'd call it, but so these are going into plastic, so don't over crank them. Now we want to flip it over. And now this little door has to go into, there's little divots in the plastic there to hold it. And then this other cover goes on. Make sure we line them up with the like that. Now we can put the other little metal arm is not lined up with the hole. There we go. So now we put the other short screw in, and that's going to go into the other side of the aluminum block with the CO2 screw. And then this long one goes all the way through from one side to the other, and there's actually a little captive nut in the other side that this machine screw goes into. All right, we should be all back together. Let's just, nope, I am not, so I am not sitting in that. Let me fix that before I break something. My little door is not sitting, there it goes. It's not sitting, the little dimple was not in its, there, now we're good. So now, we should be able to put a CO2 cartridge in here, and hopefully, hopefully it works. So I did print out a exploded diagram to help me figure everything out, because it's the first one of these I've ever done, from Crosman's website. Very good resource there if you ever do want to work on one of these, you can go right to their website, and I haven't found a gun yet that they didn't have a exploded view for yet, so. Oh yeah, she's pierced. All right, so now let me bring you guys back up to the regular camera, and I'll show you how to load this, and we'll shoot a couple shots across the garage. Alrighty, so there we go. So now we've got our lever working here, and so when you have the lever cocked down, you can actually flip this little door up, and I don't have any pellets open here. Put everything away so I can work on the gun. So now you can take a pellet and stick it in there, and put that down, close the lever, and it shoots. So let me do this. I'm going to pause the camera and set my downrange camera up, and get you out here to see me shoot the gun, and we'll shoot a couple more. Thanks. Alrighty, so now hopefully you stuck around to the end for the happy ending. So this thing can actually shoot BBs too, and we'll try a couple of those too, but first let's shoot a couple of pellets. I just have a couple of splatterburst targets on my trap downrange here, and let's see what we can do. I didn't see where it hit. I don't know if, hopefully they're going out the barrel. Let me just, yeah, okay. Just need to figure out my point of aim here. They're going out pretty good speed too. I was aiming at the lower 3-inch splatter burst there. Let me. Okay, I hit right at, I was aiming at the upper splatter burst now. Okay, it looks like I'm shooting just a little bit high, which I think I would, because this little assembly here is all the way up to the little rear sight riser was at the highest level. Oh yeah, haha, there we go. All right, so now it has this little trap door here you can swing open. And let me grab a couple of BBs here real quick. This is a smooth bore, so it's okay to shoot BBs out of it. And it is a little reservoir there, so I'll put a couple in there and we'll shoot a couple. Alright, so now when I cock it, there's a magnet on the end of that, and it should pick up a BB. Let's see if we get it. Not bad. It's this gravity feed, so you got to make sure you tip it down while you're cocking it. Hitting the splatter burst. It's counterintuitive from the old daisies. You gotta tip it down instead of tip it up. Hitting all around the center. I think, was it my last one? And then we do one more pellet. Seems like it's shooting the pellets pretty good. One more pellet, right in the center. Oh yeah, there you go. So that is pretty cool. These are very obscure. So this one was made in 1982. 0382 is the date code on this one. And, that falls right in line with what I found online as far as when they were made. But it is, I don't think this thing ever had a CO2 cartridge in it. The just from sitting around for 40 years, the CO2 seal became hard and brittle, and when the first time I tried to put a CO2 in it, it just cracked in half. So there you go. I hope you guys stuck around to the end. Sometimes these how-to videos can take quite a while, but it's a good shooting little gun. A lot of fun. So when it does have a safety there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, have a great day.